Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to Gift of Healing TV. I'm Sarah Jane, and tonight, because it's night for me, I am delighted to welcome my guest, Radavie. Radavie, thank you so very much for joining us and sharing with us today.
What a gift it has given me to have met you and being on your TV show. I am delighted.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, our program this evening is Come Home to Your Divine Self and Live in Inner Peace. A little more about Radavie. She is a spirit-based Indigenous healer who has helped several thousand clients to release their traumas and to recognize their true self. Messages from the divine sparks, the essence of our soul, have awakened her to fully recognize her calling. She now supports others to break through the code of human conditioning and to recognize the essence of their soul and return home to inner peace. From her recently published book, Awaken to Inner Peace in the Midst of Chaos, which includes messages from the divine sparks, Radavie is offering you one of the 12 freedom exploration meditations to bring you home to inner peace by recognizing your true self. We'll go more into that before the end of the program. It's a gift that she offers. Radavie, thank you so very much for joining us for this conversation, or this interview we're going to be having today. Share a little of your story and how this came about, why this is so important to you.
You know, over the years, I have really learned and understood that we all, every one of us, have had an agreement before we came to the planet. We agreed to do something for the divine. And the divine is not for God up there, for the God within ourselves. So I'll just start with that and I put it aside. And to say that my life, early life, was really trauma. Lots of wounding, especially through my mother. And being a highly sensitive little child, I withdraw instead of going out there to be in a chaotic state. I withdrew to feel safer, I think. Withdraw meaning I pulled away from everyone. But that also had its difficulties because after I walked away from my childhood. But after I had this epiphany that I have to choose to connect with her, I really realized that there was something to this.
Oops. Radavie, I'm sorry. There was a sound coming in and I thought I was turning my mic off and I've just turned yours off. Can you go to the top and turn your mic back on? I'm going to try turning my mic.
Just 1 minute. I have to tell my husband and I can't turn it off. He's the one moving out.
Okay. Okay. No. Okay, fine. Sort of, you got to the stage where you'd gone within as a child, but then that caused caused you problems in itself. So you got to there, and let's keep our fingers crossed that whatever that humming is, it doesn't come back.
So I withdrew from my environment. And I was a deep contemplative little girl. So I would sit and wonder, why am I here? No, really, seriously, why was I born? Why am I here? And that was a very deep yearning and haunting to understand and discover why I'm here. And so I would be very withdrawn and then just speak, ask, discover within myself. And I had walked away from my childhood because to me it was too painful. And then, in a mysterious moment of experiencing, my child actually turned up in front of me. And I said, I don't want you here. I don't want to see you. Just go. I'm not connected with you. And she was so sad. Oh my gosh. She stared me in my eyes and there was no words. She was there for 3 weeks until I got to feel it in me. I have to connect with her. So to connect with her, my soul wanted me to do my own self-healing. And because I was very emotional, I'm very sensitive, I'm an empath, and so it's easy to find the feelings. And when I started to go through my healing and releasing all the wounds that was trapped in me, I just wanted to share with your audience, healing your emotions is very valuable because it's the Velcro that holds the emotional memories together. Once you pull that Velcro off, you're going to feel the emotions, and this is what the most important thing we can do. So during the time of going through my self-healing, which took me a few years, I started to recognize something. I began to recognize that I am here to break the code of human conditioning. I mean, that was something very seemed arrogant. I never talked about that. I never did. But I was coming now to experience and understanding why I'm here. So as I continued, I began to work with people through the same experiences that I went through, because I know now how amazingly different I feel. I'm now my intuition went deeper, and so I got to the space of my soul's journey to now receive the treasure box that my soul held for me. So I began to become much more sensitive, much more open, much more intuitive, and feel the pain of my clients. So anyway, that's what I did for many, many, many years. I helped thousands of people to heal the childhood wounds like I did with mine. And I began to really have a lot more compassion for the behaviors that people have, because it is about the conditioning and the programs that keep us trapped from the essence of our being. Then the next thing is, I had a vision of the little boy. He was a little 3-year-old boy who had a golden key above his head. And he said, "We are here to help the adults. But first I have to take us out of confinement." Because of the work that I had been doing for 30 years, I understood exactly what he meant. And then the messages began. And I was deeply touched because they taught me that we are not wounded children, we're divine sparks, the essence of our soul. And I got to learn through the messages that we are not our biographical self. I'm not Radavie. It's a name tag that I have. But each one of us, and every one of us, have that spark of the divine within them. And I got to have a lot more love and compassion for humanity because they don't remember. I didn't remember until I was told. So that was how my whole evolution and my memories and my agreement that my soul was here to do. But I had to experience it first. I had to experience the wounds. I had to go through it. Otherwise, I'd be stuck thinking they hurt me. They are the ones who did that to me. I had to heal that. And that's what started me into this as a messenger. They needed their what they told me to be written. They want their messages to be heard in the world. And so I knew I had to write the book. I had to put it forward because, I'm a servant of God. When I'm asked to do anything in that fashion, no question asked. I just go ahead and do it. And so the book was born. May I show the book? May I show the book? So the book was born, awakened to inner peace in the midst of chaos. And in it has the messages. And it also has the memories of experiences that all of us have gone through as we were programmed and conditioned. So that's the beginning of my journey to be here and speaking with you and to remind you that you're a divine essence. We are all from the one flame of the divine. What happened?
My computer decided it needed to shut down and restart. And so my sincere apologies. I really do apologize, folks. I've had two firsts in this program. I managed to turn your mic off and now my computer shut down on me. And I've never had either of those happen before. So I hope you continue to share, Radavie.
Of course.
So I'm so pleased it let me back in.
I'm so happy. I kept talking.
Good.
I kept talking. I thought, okay, she's gone. But I kept talking, and then finally I thought, she's not coming back.
Yes,
so
yes.
I stopped speaking and waiting for you.
Oh, bless.
No, Jane, this is fun.
Oh, do you know what? It's technology. We just got to get on with it.
Oh, I know. I just love your attitude. And you know what? It is what it is. It could never be any other way but that.
And Sunny's here and says, hello, lovely ladies. Sunny, what was it? But you guys have hold the space too gracefully. So sort of, but it's brilliant. I've got to get a couple of things back up. But
Who said that?
I did. Sunny's there.
Sunny.
Yeah, she's in the chat.
Oh, she is. Oh.
So sort of, but okay. I was listening obviously until I got whatever happened. Seriously, I get the inner child thing because of the inner child with me. I've actually been talking with my inner child today. So I totally get that and the healing. There is a beautiful saying by an author called Alice Little. As a traumatized child, we were desperately waiting for the adult that would come and save us. What we didn't understand was that it would be ourselves as an adult.
Absolutely. Exactly the same thing that the divine spark told me. Got it. So the thing about it too, Sarah Jane, that I have really seen more and more and understood. When we and I'm not denouncing anything, but when we go to traditional therapy and we're not focusing on releasing our emotions, what we're doing is to become a better person mentally, because it's a word, language they're working with. And we're only hitting the foundation that was created by the conditioning. Now, when we go back into the younger years before language, I want the listeners to go back there. It is under that foundation that we need to get to. That foundation, it's where our essence is. That foundation is when we came into this world without language. We are that divine spark. We are God's child.
Yeah.
And we only saw that is where awareness is. We are aware of everything as us. We don't know anything else. And the only reason that we express cry or anything is not because we know that we're hungry. It's because we're experiencing a feeling that makes us cry. So, most important, and this is what the divine sparks are talking about, we've got to let go, the uncover the veils, take it off. So all these 30 odd years when I was working with my clients, keep healing the inner child, what I was really doing, unknown to me at the time until I got the messages, I recognized it. I was pulling the covering off, the veils. I was pulling the veils off that held the innocent child stuck. And that's where the other foundation came in. And so I commonly tell people that the child is the wisdom keeper. And I say that because the child, the baby, the young one, holds the essence of the multidimensional being. So it's a lot that I really wish people would be open to understand when they're going through a lot of suffering or fear or unrest in any way, stress. This is what it is. We've got to find our unique self.
Oh, 100%, support. I just talk about me and the healing of my inner child from the traumas I went through as a baby. And as she's felt listened to and heard, as she's felt loved, because she didn't feel loved. She felt unwanted, unloved, not good enough, rejected, abandoned. It was circumstances. It was not anything my parents did wrong, but you can't explain that to a 1-year-old. And so the connection, that reconnection with her, and when she started to feel acknowledged, listened to and heard, she has felt happier, more confident, more comfortable. And that seeped up into the me of today. And it has helped me to become more of who I'm meant to be. And I believe that's what you're sort of talking about. We can open up to the gifts. You talked about your books. We can open up to the gifts that we are here to bring. But while our child is so cocooned in the hurt, the pain, everything, we can't open up because there's an aspect of us. So when you talked about your child being there and you saying, no, go away, don't want nothing to do with you, I was thinking, no, this is exactly what you need to do. Because it is, isn't it? It's that connection with that hurt, that pain and trauma to help the child.
And yeah, and I did a lot of soul retrieval. They didn't know, but they were good at sharing with me where the pain and the child is. And then the healing starts. And sometimes the children would say, I've been waiting for you to come, meaning me. And what I would do after healing a particular thing that's going on with that child, I had that child retrieve back into their body, wherever they wanted it to be, and have them nurture that child. So it was there without me really got to understand the essence. That's their divine spark. Yeah, so.
Oh, no, I so get it. Sort of one of the things I actually say to my clients after a session is, my suggestion is tonight, as you go to sleep, you invite your child in to come and cuddle with you as you go to sleep. And when the child is fully ready, they will totally reintegrate into you. They're not separate, but I believe we've separated them. We haven't known how to deal with it, so we've compartmentalized ourselves. And when we actually then reconnect, we become whole. And once we become whole, and I think we're all a work in progress, but we open up to so much more of the gifts that there are here today.
So to me, what happened when we, as you said, walked away or separated ourselves from that child, that's when we're living from that foundation that is created by conditioning in the program. That essence, that is what we are, is underneath the real foundation of our multidimensional self. And that's what we need to get to. So this is really a soul, deeply spiritual thing. It's not like the traditional therapy, and and that's what they learned. So we're moving into a more new way of really identifying our true nature. So I just opened the book. So may I read? I don't know what it's going to say. May I read one of the messages that the spark told me?
Carry on.
Losing. Now remember, we are now under the foundation. And we are struggling. We are locked away because the adult is living as their program self. Said, losing the connection to God's love, sorrow and shame covered our sparks. Our sparks were hidden under new reality of lack. We became powerless.
Perfect for what we've been talking about.
I know. The book does open to that. I know. Did you notice that? The book opens. So the Divine Spark is here supporting this program and this TV conversation. That's how I look at it.
I just love the way the universe works. I'm just not sure what the third first is going to be tonight. So really, what you're talking about is the coming home to yourself, to the divine self.
Yes. Yes. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's when let's stop and look about the world, what's going on. It's, many people have said and is saying that they've never seen it like this before. It's not just our life or what's going on around us. It's what is happening everywhere. And then I'll say, stop and think. And then ask the question, are they living as their essence? Are they? No, they're not. There is a fear. The only thing that's covered over into the mindset is fear. It's fear. It's really, and fear has many, many, many different angles. Fear can be lack. Fear can be not good enough. Fear comes from everything that isn't of love. And when we continue to live from our belief self, the belief, we'll never get to our heart space. The heart is where we belong. And we have been moved out of that because of the veils that have covered over our essence. And that's why the messages are here to remind people of what they really are.
100%. They talk about sort of be the change you wish to see in the world. They talk about it's not about learning, it's about unlearning everything that you've learned about yourself from other people's words and perspectives and training, whether it's your parents, your teachers, your grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, it's about unlearning. And I shared a video. Actually, I posted it on the 1st of April. I find this hilarious. And that was called, "You didn't become selfish, you became harder to manipulate." And that is, for me, about waking up on yourself and stopping that manipulation, that being controlled, that by other people and by the sense you thought you knew of yourself, which actually isn't true. I cannot believe today that video hit 57,000 views, which says to me that the world is, that is not many in comparison to the number of people on this planet, but the world is waking up. And that's the most important thing. We are here to be true to ourselves. We're not selfish when we say no to others. It's important we learn to say yes to our heart choices.
Yes. One of the things that I'm coming back to, what I've always known, we're here with one thing: to give love and to receive it back. Because remember, we're multidimensional. We're coming from the God's source. We are just so clear and empty. We've forgotten about past lives. We come as a clean slate. And when we do not receive the love, because we're here to give and receive it, that's it. When we think about it, it's the same thing with adults. When we look at the face of a baby, just consider the innocence that's there. It just pop our hearts open. That baby is exactly how we were when we were born. And it's still there. That's the foundation of the essence of our being. It's still there, never left. So wanting peace and looking for, oh my God, I wish I could feel peace, is already in here. It's an inside job. We have to go inside to find and to live from that sense of peace. And I feel that a lot of people are afraid to go through their emotions, from their past experience, the wounding experience that they had. And if you're afraid, find someone you feel you trust, who can hold that space for you. And believe me, it's the richest experience you will ever have. It's the greatest value to our lives, is when we come to that recognition of our divine self.
Oh, 100%. The change in me since the work, and I know you get this, and I hope that there are people that listen to this, and it's, where are you at the moment? You can move beyond that. Don't be afraid. I mean, I've had people just say, Sarah, I know you could help me. I just can't go there. You've got to be ready, which is, yeah, and I get that. I totally get that. I just hope people become ready, because it is so beautiful. I've watched the energies of people that have come and worked with me, and the energy when they walked in, to the energy when they walked out. It's amazing, the difference in them. There's a lightness as the child feels acknowledged. And that is so important. And the peace is within us. So is the happiness. You know, everything that we require is right there inside of us. You know, we're not going to be happy when this happens. Be happy now. Be happy with what you have. How many times do we see these as quotes, you know, sort of shared via multiple social media, etc.? It's all inside of us, and we can connect with it, because you and I both know, because we've both done it.
I know. And that's why, you know, Sarah Jane, I have such compassion for people. I really, you know, and when one of your clients say to you, but you know, Sarah Jane, I can't go there, what I'm hearing is that I'm afraid to revisit the pain.
Yeah.
And this is where they need the encouragement and the trust. There's a fear of revisiting the pain, but they have to get to that place where they can really feel they can be open to you and trust. There's a trust that they have to unlock in there to allow you to hold that space with them. And it's such a beautiful, sacred journey. They really understand. But this is what wounding does. It covers over our mind with fear. That's what it is. So,
and the sad part is that we live too much in this, rather than allowing ourselves to live from our heart, because our head, our mind, our ego is so good at twisting things and distorting things, and we don't have to listen to it. You know, occasionally if my mind suddenly goes off on a strange, and it's like, excuse me, you're meant to be here to protect me, and you're the one that's hurting me.
Well, the thing is also that we are, when we are traumatized or wounded, what we do to survive this,
Yeah.
we close our hearts and go to my mind. And we start to live from the belief. The survivor start to think its way out of the wound, thinking its way, and bring all kinds of beliefs. So what happened? They have left their heart where they belong, where we belong. And it's not that they want to cut themselves off from their heart. It's because it's a survival. If I don't feel, I'm safer. So I go over to my head. You know how many people I know who just go to their head first? They don't. so it's really a protection. And again, I feel compassion for that.
Oh, yeah, I 100% get it. You know, I've looked at my life and I think, I know I went into the mode, don't love, can't get hurt. And I so get that. And I see, but I also look at things and think, I've worked with men and women who've been abused, sort of childhood abuse. And, you know, and one of the things I actually say to people is, have you asked questions? Don't get me wrong, I do not condone that sort of treatment. I never will. But have you thought about how that person was treated as a child, what that person witnessed as a child, what that person therefore thinks is how life should be? It's not about you, it's about them. And so if we can let go of their suffering, their way of thinking, their way of being, and step back into ourselves. This is where I think you didn't become selfish, you became harder to manipulate, because you're saying suddenly, actually, no, this life is about me. It's not about your stuff. I can let go of that. And I can now feel and care about me. And that's the important thing. And hope that they will get to that point.
Yes. So we get to the next phase of it. Who is feeling the trauma? Question is it the mind and the conditioning that's feeling the trauma? Where is our divine spark? The divine spark is the one flame of God. It's the beginning of what became here. We don't, before language, we saw everything from awareness. We are aware of all that we see as ourselves. So we just step out of that and inquire, who is feeling the trauma? And I'm going to use a little point of reference. So let's say that right now we're on the screen and we could never see each other if we didn't have a screen. The screen is nothing, but the screen is really big because we can't use the computer without a screen. It doesn't matter what is being shown on the screen, whether it's something loving or something frightening. We are aware of what's on the screen. The difference is many of us jump into the play of whatever is happening on the screen and start to live as real as themselves. Whereas the screen is like the divine spark, the essence, awareness. It's self-aware. The essence is self-aware. And all we do without self-awareness, the human body will never be able to see anything. We would never be able to jump into the screen and start to live like the experience that we see there. So when we jump out of the screen and we just take a moment and pause and said, I am my divine light, my soul essence is allowing me to be aware. What then is allowing us to be aware? It can't be the experiences. It is the awareness of what we really are and has always been. So our soul essence, the divine spark, the spark, is always present, even into another life. We can't move into another life, which is a soul essence. So once we really consider that all of this conversation that people have with themselves about, oh my God, look at what he's doing, and so on, and stopped to look and said, what is allowing me to be aware of what's happening? Why pause? And that's the free meditation that I'm offering people, to just be in that moment of no mind, just becoming aware of being like the screen. That's a perfect analogy. Just be like the screen and listen to the words that are being spoken to you. And I'd love to hear what they would their experience with that.
I have put the link to your website, which is radavie.net.
Yes.
I've put that up in the chat. I will make sure that that is under the video, so people who are watching this via YouTube, it will be there as well. So on the website, you can get to the link of the one of the 12 freedom exploration meditations, and that's there on your website.
Yes.
Okay.
And I also offer people 20-minute complimentary guidance. Come talk to me. So ask me questions. Questions is about you. Questions is about your essence, your divine self. Because that's the next step for us to go into becoming awakened. What is awakening? Awakening is moving away from the veils of belief. We're not going anywhere. We're only expanding our consciousness into a different way. So that's what we're here to do.
to become our true selves.
Yes.
And to find our true selves. We have had a really, yes, we've had fun with this program. With all the technical bits and but I love technology for what it enables us to do.
I bless it.
Yeah.
I bless it. We're able to see each other.
Absolutely. Before we actually close, obviously we've shared the link to your website, and I would encourage people to sort of explore that. And the book is called, I've moved that. Awaken to Inner Peace in the Midst of Chaos. So sort of, let me just put you up large so that people can see that. Okay, brilliant. But is there anything finally before we close that you would like to share that we may not have touched on?
I just want people to really, really know that though we look different, we have different opinions, we have different beliefs, that if we pause for a split second without the mind, we can feel the connection between all of us, because the light of awareness is always there to remind us. And I want to say, everyone, we are really one. We're from the one flame of the divine. Whether we can understand it now or not, I pray and hope that you can go through the unveiling to really, really see the truth of that.
Bless you. Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure, Radavie. And yeah, I just hope that this will touch. I know it will touch lives, and that it will help people to sort of open up to themselves, to seek that support, to heal the aspects of the inner child.
Yes.
So that we can become truer to ourselves. And you and I can both sort of contest to the fact that it makes a huge difference to you in your life when you heal that child, let that inner child feel your love, your caring, feel heard and listened to. And so that you can open up to so. I am such a different person to the one I used to be. I really am, because of it. I'm much more confident. So I hope that people will seek the support to be able to do that. Thank you, sweet soul.
I also have an audio that was just done. So I have an audio. A lot of people, many people prefer audio because there's so many things to do on the go. They can be listening in the car, can be listening anywhere.
Yeah. So it's an audio book as well as a physical book, and I'm assuming an ebook as well.
But yeah, to me, the physical book is a book that's evergreen. You can always open it and to remember.
Yeah.
We do that sometimes. Yeah, we do that sometimes.
Oh, thank you so very much. Thank you, folks, for listening. My apologies that the technical issues, but they were totally out. Well, the second one was out of my control. The first one was my doing accidentally. Next week, we have a today's conversation for you, aspects of past lives with Wayne Whaling. That's going to be really interesting. I was actually talking to him earlier today. So thank you, Radavie. I'm sure we'll be in touch. Thank you, folks. Take care. Be safe. Stay well. Namaste, sweet souls.
Namaste.
Take care. See you soon. Bye.
Bye now.